Story time. So last summer, I was a corporate sponsor for the junior high state finals rodeo. That's a week-long rodeo in Idaho. My junior high sponsorship was supposed to carry over to the high school sponsorship, which I believe is another 7 to 10 day rodeo, which was 2 weeks later. When I arrived at the junior high state finals, the big contestant meeting was happening, and I had been given a job to do during the entire week at the state finals. After the contestant meeting, we were kind of sitting around dividing up our responsibilities. All of a sudden, I look over my shoulder and I am being watched very closely by a police officer. He was nervous for some reason. He just looked nervous. He looked like he was ready to pounce on somebody, draw his gun, and remove a threat. And he's talking on his radio. Pretty soon, a couple other officers show up and they have some paperwork in their hand. I had no idea what this was, but I assumed that my ex-wife had pulled a very public stunt. I had been attending several of my kids' rodeos in the spring. Mind you, this is after I've surrendered my parental rights, but I had been attending their rodeos as a spectator. I didn't have any contact with them. They saw me, I saw them. My youngest was able to wave at me a couple times until I believe she got caught doing that, and then I believe that she got in trouble. Every time she saw me after that, including the recent sighting in Las Vegas, she would look at me and then turn around and walk the other way. Just like she was required to do, because they have been disallowed from communicating with me, looking at me, and probably even mentioning my name. Getting back to the police officers who had paperwork for me. They asked me to go out to the parking lot. I said, no thanks. I'm not going to leave this public view. You can talk to me and say whatever you need to say right here in front of all of these people, because I didn't trust the situation at all. For some reason, they were nervous. So I'm wearing a body cam. I informed them, you're on my camera, just so you know. And they said, yeah, that's fine. You're on ours too. They served me with protective order papers. The protective order paper application said that I had been stalking my kids all spring, that I had been seen video recording them at their rodeo. A couple of other things that were really just grasping for straws. She was just trying to pull a stunt in a public scenario. I received these papers. They informed me that I then needed to leave, otherwise I'd be in violation. And my court date was set for like 10 days out, which was after the state finals rodeo. So I called the person who gave me the responsibility that I had all week and told him what was up. He thought that was a bunch of bullshit because he knew the situation. He knew she would be there, and he knows how problematic she is. They walked me to my truck and I drove home. However, my sponsorship remained, and my business banner, which I'll show you in this picture right here, remained on the fence. Now, here is the key part to this story. For the remainder of the junior high finals, replacement dad and my problematic ex-wife complained to the rodeo board about how traumatic my business name and phone number were to my kids. They chose to sit right in front of that banner. Of all of the seating in the grandstands and the whole arena, ex-wife and replacement dad chose to sit right in front of my business name and my phone number, which is very interesting. Fast forward to my court date with the judge. The judge gave me a 25-foot perimeter between me and the kids, and he said, you better be wearing your body cam and you better be having a measuring tape, because if you're 24 feet, I'm going to cite you. If you're 26 feet, you're okay. You better be able to prove which one it is. And then he informed her specifically that she was not to interfere with any of my business activities, any of my marketing, any of my advertising, any of my sponsorships. By the time high school finals came around, replacement dad had already met with the board, and replacement dad had caused that the board took down my sponsorship sign and thus sent me back my sponsorship money. I had conversations with the junior high state director, And I informed him that if she indeed wanted to serve me paperwork, she could have done that at my house with my own local sheriff's department, because she's done that before. He then realized the truth in that statement, and they now have a microscope on them from the state rodeo boards as well as the state directors. So we'll see how it pans out for this year, because all the professionals that would ever touch a horse that might be at the state finals, I will be the professional to have my hands on the highest percentage of horses competing at those rodeos of all of the other professions combined.